newly uncovered evidence has reignited the Hillary Clinton email scandal, and it's far more explosive than anyone imagined. Plus, the Democrats turned the border into a red carpet, and now their criminal guests want room service. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, back to our lead story. Not only did the FBI reportedly suppress critical details involving Hillary Clinton's email scandal, but the cover-up appears linked to the very origins of the Democrat-driven Russia hoax. Republicans not just asking questions anymore, they're calling for indictments.
They were all lying to us, and they got snookered, and they should be held accountable. And I want to see some people in handcuffs. They have to be held accountable, or it'll happen again.
If you want to see arrests like Jason Chaffetz and myself, smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel because you do not want to miss where this rabbit hole leads. All right, take a look at this. Senate Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley just declassified a damning DOJ watchdog report showing the FBI cut corners and ignored critical evidence in the Clinton email investigation. Instead of digging into government thumb drives, including emails from President Obama, the FBI just shrugged it off. Well, Senator Grassley writes, quote, "This document shows an extreme lack of effort and due diligence in the FBI's investigation of former Secretary Clinton's email usage and mishandling of highly classified information." Now, these new documents, they reveal that President Obama used then Attorney General Loretta Lynch to apply pressure on then FBI Director James Comey to avoid a Clinton-related scandal that would stain his legacy. Here's a direct quote from the document. It says, "Obama is not in the mood to mar the very final segment of his presidency, his legacy, with a scandal around a leading nominee for the Democratic Party. To deal with this, he is using Attorney General Loretta Lynch to mount a pressure on FBI Director James Comey, alas, so far, with no concrete results." The White House is now weighing in.
It comes as no surprise, unfortunately, and I think that's why you've seen the FBI open up investigations into the individual you mentioned and some others as well.
We now know that not just classified, but highly classified information was on Hillary Clinton's server. The report also found that the CIA briefed President Obama and his team about the Clintons' campaign attempt to tie Trump to Russia and distract from their email server issue. So what do you know? The Russia hoax circles back to Hillary's email scandal and becomes the shiny new penny for the media. And of course, they took the bait.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
No doubt. The Russians hacked the election.
Yes, Russia hacked the election.
Fact, Russia hacked the election.
President-elect Donald Trump still not sounding convinced that Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
The media spent years chasing Russian ghosts, only to unmask nobody. Then they magically make Hunter's laptop vanish mid-election, and facts were flagged as dangerous. Who needs conspiracy theories when the news writes them for you? Thankfully, we finally have trustworthy leaders stepping up to right the ship and call out the spin.
Thank goodness that D&I Gabbard released 100 documents so that people can see, here's the proof. This is what they were doing. They knew Hillary was creating this dossier. So then they go in and Obama's team is all informed, and then they start to create a diversion and they try to make it about Trump.
And it didn't stop with smears and spin. Obama's team allegedly pulled off a full-blown ambush at Trump Tower.
January 6th, they all go up to Trump Tower to give President Trump what he believes is his incoming defensive briefing as the new, as the president-elect. He thinks he's getting the normal defensive briefing. Instead, it's a setup. They go up there, talk to him about this, and then Comey tells him about the dossier that they already know is baloney. They know it's not true, came from the Clinton campaign and everything else, but they brief him on it so that when that information gets leaked, it has added credibility because now it was so important that the FBI talked to the president-elect, the press has got to report it, and off and running goes the Russia collusion false narrative for the next 2 years.
The media pushed the narrative of a peaceful transfer of power from Obama to Trump, but the facts tell a different story. There was nothing peaceful about what Obama's team was doing behind the scenes. It was a very calculated effort to undermine the incoming administration. As for the Justice Department, they've confirmed now that they received a criminal referral from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, alleging the Obama administration manufactured intelligence to create the false Trump-Russia collusion narrative. Now, the president took to Truth Social and he wrote, quote, Obama himself manufactured the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, and numerous others participated in this. The crime of the century. Irrefutable evidence, a major threat to our country. Now, former federal prosecutor Brett Tolman, he pulls no punches as he describes what he believes happened during the Biden administration to cover President Obama's tracks. Watch this.
In our lifetime, John, there's only been one president who didn't leave Washington, D.C. after they were done serving their 8 years, and that was President Obama. He stayed there, and then his people were ready, and they put Joe Biden in knowing that they could accomplish what they wanted, which was to keep quiet some of the things that they had done while in power. When Joe Biden came in, it was easy to see that they put in Obama's people into key positions in order to continue the ability to cover what Obama had done.
As I revealed in a previous episode, we now know part of the plan to cover Obama's tracks. It included the Mar-a-Lago raid. It was a fishing expedition for one thing, and they were looking for the document that showed proof that Russia interference claims were baseless, and they didn't find that document in Mar-a-Lago. Now, Obama released a statement firing back at the accusations that had been leveled against him, reading in part, quote, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. Now, these documents suggest otherwise. In fact, one confirms Obama personally gave the order to push the Russia collusion narrative without evidence. And then there's this, a jaw-dropping revelation that even stunned me. According to newly surfaced documents, Russia had in its possession a damning dossier of Hillary Clinton's deepest vulnerabilities, specifically her deteriorating health. We're talking about a campaign trove of intel that included reports of heavy sedative use due to intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. It goes on to say that she was afraid of losing so much and remained obsessed with a thirst for power. And it gets even darker. These files expose secret meetings between Clinton's team and religious organizations where she reportedly offered major State Department grants in exchange for political support. Insiders also now admitting that EU allies, they considered her unfit to lead, and they were hoping she would lose the election to avoid an international crisis. And perhaps most damning of all, documents show President Obama and top Democratic Party officials were gravely concerned privately, describing Clinton's condition as extraordinarily alarming. These are the same people that dissected Trump's gate in his first term like it was a crime scene. One stumble and he was unfit. But Biden, collapsing on stage, forgetting world leaders, and reading cue cards like a hostage? We were told that was fine. But as soon as Trump steps foot right back into the White House, the media immediately begins freaking out over a Band-Aid on the president's hand. How more hypocritical can you be? Here's former House Oversight Chair Jason Chaffetz.
I cannot even express how stunning this is. The President of the United States was engaged in a conspiracy. That's the allegation. I'm so disappointed in Barack Obama. He puts himself up there as a scandal-free president. Now, look how great it was for 8 years. That guy run the screen, he was lying to us. And he was part of concocting a conspiracy to deceive the American people. It doesn't get any worse than that. And how many times did I get a lecture from the Democrats about nobody's above the law, nobody's above the law? They all said it. They drove it home every time. And we'll see where they are now. They're going to run for the hills.
We're not talking about bad policy or even dirty politics. This was a coordinated effort to deceive the American people and shield power. The big question now is, will we actually see indictments? Because Americans have had enough of the two-tier justice system. Which, speaking of, a Maryland federal judge has just issued an order that will block ICE from arresting the Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, upon his release on bail in Tennessee for his federal human trafficking charges. The judge is also ordering a 72-hour pause on any effort to deport him to a third-party country without sufficient notice and due process. Let's not forget, this is an alleged MS-13 gang member and wife beater who is facing federal human smuggling charges. Does this sound like somebody that you want hanging out in your neighborhood while awaiting trial? And then in Florida, migrants detained at Alligator Alcatraz, they are reportedly upset that their ham and cheese sandwiches aren't getting toasted. It's true. Democrats turned illegal immigration into a luxury stay, and now even the criminals expect five-star treatment.
They're making these claims and they're saying, oh, they're not fed well. Well, first of all, they're fed the same that the staff is fed. And they were mad that the ham sandwiches weren't toasted. Excuse me? I mean, give me a break. I'm confident that whatever is required will be set.
Welcome to Biden's border crisis, where legal immigrants aren't just crossing, they're critiquing the menu. Meanwhile, Democrats told Americans that they just needed to deal with it, all while crime was spiking, schools overflow, and resources were stretched thin. If jail food not meeting Michelin standards is now a human rights crisis, we have officially lost the plot. In this next video, I detail the Russia hoax, how it was cooked up, clips of Obama making carefully worded announcements back in 2016, and we take a look behind the scenes and how the operation officially went down. Go ahead, click on that video you see now on your screen, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.